Okay, be honest. Have you ever read a headline like, MS is getting more aggressive, and immediately thought, oh cool, so now it's upgrading too? But here's the real question. Is MS actually becoming more aggressive, or are we just catching it earlier than ever before? I think we may just be getting smarter, because those are two very different realities, and if you've been recently diagnosed, this matters a lot. Today we're breaking down, is MS evolving into a supervillain, or are we just finally seeing the full picture? Let's talk about it. Finding it earlier means we can start fighting earlier, get treatments on board sooner, protecting the brain and spinal cord from long-term damage. It's completely understandable why so many people are worried. We live in an age of information overload, and the headlines that get the most attention are almost always the most dramatic ones. You scroll your feed and see powerful, heart-wrenching stories. People bravely share their experiences on their worst days, and those stories create a loud, persistent echo across the internet. You'll see comments about younger people being diagnosed, more people in general receiving a diagnosis, so it feels like MS is rising or becoming more severe. These personal accounts are valid, but we also need the complete picture. There are three possible explanations. 1. MS is truly becoming more aggressive. 2. We're diagnosing it earlier. 3. We're better at detecting damage. Seeing more of something makes you think there's more to see. Similarly, medicine is paying closer attention to the earliest signs of MS. The rules doctors use to diagnose MS, the McDonald criteria, have been updated repeatedly to enable earlier, more accurate diagnosis. The 2024 criteria refine specificity while maintaining high sensitivity to catch MS in its initial stages. In the past, people might wait months or years for a second episode. Now, evidence from one clinical event plus MRI, and sometimes CSF, can make the diagnosis. Updates like the 2017 version cut median time to diagnosis by nearly 5 years. That's 5 years sooner to start disease-modifying therapy and protect brain and spinal cord. Doctors now recognize radiologically isolated syndrome, RIS, MS-like lesions found incidentally on MRI, in people with no clinical symptoms. A scan for a headache or minor head injury can reveal lesions that look just like MS. Recognizing RIS as a preclinical stage enables earlier monitoring and sometimes treatment. And yes, increases the number of diagnoses we detect. This isn't MS getting meaner, it's us getting sooner and smarter at naming what was already there. In the 90s, you basically needed to fall over twice and glow in the dark before someone said, maybe MS. MRI has transformed how we diagnose and monitor MS. Today's scanners are faster, more powerful, and produce breathtaking brain and spinal cord detail. Lesions once invisible now show up clearly. Scans that were normal then reveal subtle early disease today. We're identifying borderline cases and making definitive calls earlier because the evidence is high resolution. Higher sensitivity is a double-edged sword, great for catching disease, but it can make incidence look like it's skyrocketing. Studies show newer criteria diagnose more patients, e.g. 121 versus 97 under older criteria, not because MS mutated, but because we're counting better. Think of it as a finer mesh net. The fish were always there. We finally catch them. Imagine taking garden photos with an old blurry film camera, then upgrading to a 4K camera. Suddenly you see petal veins, an aphid on a leaf, a tiny brown spot. The garden didn't change, your ability to see did. The garden is the nervous system. The camera is MRI. We used to see only large lesions after symptoms. Now we see tiny, early, even microscopic changes. It can feel alarming, like disease is moving fast. But often it's the early phase finally visible in stunning detail. We haven't changed the disease. We upgraded the camera and now see the truth that was always there. We used to wait and see. Start mild, escalate only if relapses or new lesions showed up. But irreversible damage can occur early, even without obvious relapses, via PIRA, progression independent of relapse activity. So many specialists now advocate early high-efficacy treatment, especially when disease is active at diagnosis. Logic: hit hard and early to reduce relapses, slow new lesion formation, and preserve function. Modern neurology success: a growing arsenal of medicines that change the disease course. A recent trial showed a 31% reduction in 6-month confirmed disability progression versus placebo. For the first time, therapies can slow underlying disability progression, not just manage relapses. That's tangible hope for better long-term outcomes. With earlier diagnoses and more activity on scans, are people becoming disabled faster? Here's the twist. The evidence largely suggests no, and in treated populations, outcomes are improving. On average, a newly diagnosed person today has a better outlook than 20 to 30 years ago. Because of early diagnosis plus early effective treatment, molecular medicine transformed MS from common crippler of young adults to a condition where many expect lives free from major disability. MS is variable. A minority have aggressive courses. Their stories matter. But at the population level, we don't see a worldwide surge in disability. Headlines about 31% disability reduction translate to people walking, working, and living more fully. The same things that make MS look meaner are helping us beat it. The internet is incredible, and a terrifying house of mirrors when you're newly diagnosed. Algorithms show clicks, comments, shares, which means extreme stories get amplified. You'll find the loudest voices, often those with the longest, hardest journeys. That creates an echo chamber of worst-case scenarios that feels inevitable. Modern care can feel rushed, but the fast pace is based on decades of data to protect your future. The quiet majority living full lives with MS aren't posting daily. They're working, raising families, pursuing hobbies. Balance online research with your doctors, nurses, and trusted support groups for a realistic picture. Is MS getting meaner? The most balanced, honest answer is no. What changed is our view, better criteria, better imaging, better medicines. If MS were worse across the board, disability rates would skyrocket. We don't see that where early diagnosis and high-efficacy treatments are accessible. The real headline: progress. If everything feels fast, that's okay. Be an active partner. Ask why, ask risks and benefits, and seek a second opinion if you need. Be kind to yourself. Stick to credible sources. Lean on friends, family, and support groups. The real shift isn't that MS is getting meaner. It's that medicine is getting smarter. When you were diagnosed, did it feel urgent or delayed? Let's talk about your experience in the comments.